Have you ever heard someone say, that person has a chip on their shoulder? What are they trying to say? Is there someone with an actual potato chip on their shoulder? And why are they so mad? The idiom, a chip on your shoulder, is used to describe a person who feels they have been slighted and is itching for a fight. The saying is supposed to invoke the imagery of a person balancing a small chip of wood on their shoulder who, if anyone knocks off, is ready to fight. Now, for how this idiom came to be, well, for that, we need to go back almost 400 years. In the mid 1600s, shipwrights in the Royal Navy had the perk of being able to bring back any surplus cuts of lumber on a daily basis. This was seen as a bonus for the shipwrights who were able to bring home good cuts of wood for their home's family and for personal use. The bundle of wood, referred to as a chip, would be carried on the shoulders of the departing shipwrights. In 1756, the Naval Board made a decision to revoke the wood allowance because the perk was being abused. The extra lumber allowance was depleting the timber reserves for warship construction and repair, while also costing taxpayers for the lost materials. The warrant dictated that instead of carrying the planks of wood on their shoulders, the workers would have to carry them under their arms, limiting the amount they could carry. On the first day the warrant was enforced, the clock struck noon and around 150 sad workers left the docks without any lumber. After this, a smaller group of about 20 shipwrights started walking bitterly towards the gates. They held their planks under their arms to comply with the mandate. Shortly after came the hero of our story and the myth behind the origin of chip on your shoulder. A shipwright by the name of John Miller walked towards the gates with his chips held proudly. He walked sternly with a stride that communicated, "If you knock the chips off my shoulder, then a fight you shall find." The master shipwright approached him and ordered him to drop the lumber to his side. Miller bravely replied that he would not. At this, the master shipwright reached out in an attempt to hold John back and force him to comply with his orders. John Miller stood firm and shouted, "Are not these chips mine? I will not lower them." After hearing this battle cry, the remaining workers pushed past the master shipwright and his first assistant through the gate. Once cleared, the main body of workers cheered with 3 resounding huzzas. So the next time life understandably puts you in a bad mood and someone tells you that you have a chip on your shoulder, just remember the words of John Miller and reply back with, "Are not these chips mine?"